What if I told you that your brain is not fixed? That who you are today is not who you have to be tomorrow? What if the habits you hate, the fears you carry, even the story you believe about yourself could be rewritten, not through wishful thinking or motivation, but through the raw biological power of your brain? This isn't science fiction. This is neuroplasticity, and it might be the most important discovery you've never fully used to your advantage. Most people think their brain is like a hard drive, something set in stone, unchangeable after a certain age. That your personality is fixed. That trauma scars you forever. That intelligence or emotional patterns are things you're born with. But the truth is far more liberating, and far more dangerous if ignored. Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to change, adapt, rewire and rebuild itself based on how you use it. It's the reason you can learn to play the piano at 70. It's why someone can recover from a stroke and learn to speak again. It's how habits are built and how they're broken. But here's the catch. Neuroplasticity doesn't care what you build. It just builds. That means every time you replay a negative thought, react with anger, scroll mindlessly through your phone, or give in to procrastination, you're wiring your brain to do more of it. Your brain doesn't judge. It just adapts. You become what you repeatedly do, not because of some mystical idea, but because your neurons literally rewired to make it easier, faster, and more automatic. Let's break this down. Your brain contains around 86 billion neurons, and each of them can form thousands of connections with others. These connections, or synapses, are like roads. The more you travel a certain path, the smoother and faster that road becomes. When you learn something new, or even think a new thought, you're creating a new path. At first it's rough, slow, unfamiliar, but repeat it enough, and your brain begins to reinforce it. The road gets paved. Eventually, it becomes the default route. This is why change is hard. Your brain is optimized for what's familiar, not what's best. Now imagine this. Every time you feel unworthy and accept that thought without questioning it, you strengthen that neural path. Every time you procrastinate instead of act, you reinforce that loop. Every time you numb discomfort instead of facing it, you're training your brain to seek escape instead of growth. But the same mechanism can be used for transformation. When you choose a new response, when you challenge a belief, when you repeat a new behavior even if it feels unnatural, you're forcing your brain to consider a new route. It won't be comfortable. At first your brain resists. The old road is smoother. But keep going, and slowly, your brain starts reinforcing this new path. This is why consistency matters more than intensity. Neuroplastic change doesn't require massive breakthroughs. It requires daily repetition. Let's talk about practical strategies. First, awareness. You can't change what you don't notice. Start observing your automatic reactions, thoughts, and emotional loops like a scientist. Not with judgment, but with curiosity. What triggers your anxiety? When do you check out emotionally? What stories do you tell yourself about your limits? Awareness begins the rewiring process by pulling unconscious patterns into the light. Second, intention. Ask yourself, what neural pathway do I want to strengthen today? Is it focus? Patience? Courage? Choose one. Keep it simple. Every time, you make a conscious decision to act in alignment with that intention. Even in small ways, you are laying new neurological tracks. Third, repetition. The brain rewires through repetition, not intensity. It's better to meditate for 5 minutes every day than for an hour once a month. It's better to say no to your phone 10 times a day than to throw it away once and buy it back next week. Neuroplasticity rewards consistency. Fourth, emotion. Emotional states amplify neural changes. If you feel deeply connected to an experience, joy, awe, even pain, Your brain marks it as significant. So when you're trying to rewire, don't go through the motions. Be present. Feel it. Invest meaning in what you're doing. Fifth, environment. Your surroundings influence your brain constantly. If your environment reinforces the old patterns, rewiring becomes a battle. But if you deliberately design your space to support the new behaviors, less distraction, more inspiration, you're giving your brain the cues it needs to change. Now let's be honest, this process is not instant. You will want to quit. Your brain will fight for the familiar. You'll relapse into old habits. That doesn't mean you've failed. It means your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do: conserve energy and seek safety. But safety isn't growth, and the brain's true genius lies in its ability to evolve. Remember, neurons that fire together, wire together. But the opposite is also true. If you stop using a path, if you stop feeding the loop, it weakens, it atrophies. Just as muscles shrink without use, so do neural circuits. And that means even deeply ingrained patterns, addictions, emotional reactions, limiting beliefs, can lose their power over time, not by force, but by disuse. You don't need to fight your brain. You need to train it. There's a term called self-directed neuroplasticity, the idea that you can deliberately reshape your brain through conscious thought and action. This is the heart of personal transformation, not just changing your life from the outside, but rebuilding the very wiring that interprets, reacts, and shapes your entire experience of reality. You are not your habits. You are not your anxiety. You are not your past. You are the architect of your mind, if you choose to be. So how do you start? Start small. Pick one thought you want to challenge, one behavior you want to shift, one belief you're ready to outgrow. Practice it. Repeat it. Reinforce it. Track your patterns. Notice your wins. Don't look for perfection. Look for momentum. Your brain is listening to everything you do, everything you think, everything you feel, and it's adjusting itself to make those things easier tomorrow. So ask yourself, what kind of brain are you building? Because whether you act or don't, the rewiring is happening. Choose wisely. And remember, change doesn't start with motivation. It starts with action. Repeated, imperfect, courageous action. Your future self is waiting. Not out there in some distant fantasy, but inside your brain, already under construction.